They thought you wouldn't notice. The sudden coldness from family members who once embraced you. The opportunities that vanished without explanation. The way your name seemed tainted before you even walked into the room. It wasn't your imagination. It wasn't coincidence. For chosen ones watching right now, a shocking truth is being revealed across the spiritual realm. Someone close to you, someone sharing your blood, was influenced to systematically destroy your reputation. This wasn't casual gossip. This was calculated. This was warfare. Why would anyone target you? Because your light exposes what hides in darkness. Your authentic power makes false authority tremble. Your God-given purpose threatens those who profit from your limitation. The Most High is revealing something profound today. The opposition you faced wasn't merely human jealousy, it was a coordinated attack against your divine assignment. Heaven's ancient wisdom tells us that every weapon crafted to stop you will ultimately fail. The very words spoken against your character were meant to derail your purpose, but instead, they've been preparing you for this moment of revelation. Today, what was hidden becomes visible. Truth emerges from shadow. Divine justice awakens. Take a moment. Feel this truth resonating in your spirit. If something within you is stirring with recognition, prepare your heart. What you're about to discover will completely transform how you understand your struggles and illuminate your path forward. The season of vindication has arrived. Why target your name? Why not attack your finances, your health, your circumstances directly? Because the enemy understands something profound. Before a chosen one can fulfill their purpose, their credibility must be dismantled. Your influence depends on your reputation. Your message requires a messenger people trust. Destroy the messenger, and the message never reaches those who need it. This spiritual strategy appears throughout sacred history. Joseph's brothers didn't just sell him into slavery, they first crafted a narrative that justified their betrayal. They stained his character before removing his presence. David faced whispered accusations long before physical threats emerged. Even the Messiah was labeled a troublemaker, a blasphemer, a threat to peace before facing crucifixion. The pattern is unmistakable. Character assassination precedes destiny obstruction. But here's what spiritual warfare experts rarely discuss. These attacks reveal the weight of your assignment. The intensity of opposition directly correlates to the magnitude of your calling. Small destinies attract small resistance. Great purposes provoke coordinated warfare. When lies about you spread through family circles, when reputations are systematically dismantled, recognize what's actually happening. The spiritual realm recognizes your power before you fully step into it. Your enemies fear what you're becoming. The false narratives weren't random, they were strategic. Someone benefited from your diminishment. Someone gained advantage from your isolation. But here's the divine reversal. Every attack intended to silence you has actually been amplifying your spiritual authority. The wilderness seasons, the misunderstandings, the betrayals, each one forged resilience you'll need for the influence ahead. God permits these battles not to destroy you, but to develop you. The chosen one who withstands character assassination without losing their integrity emerges with authority that cannot be counterfeited. Your reputation may have been wounded, but your character, refined through fire, now carries weight that demands attention. The truth you're about to discover will reveal exactly how this spiritual warfare operated in your specific situation. The hardest truth many chosen ones must face is this: the source of your deepest wounds often shares your bloodline. When Joseph dreamed of his divine purpose, who mocked him first? His brothers. When David was anointed for greatness, who dismissed him? His family. This pattern continues today. For many watching, your greatest opposition emerged from those who should have been your strongest advocates. A parent who should have nurtured your gifts instead competed with you. A sibling who should have celebrated your success instead resented it. A cousin, an uncle, a grandparent who participated in diminishing your light. Some acted from raw jealousy, your brilliance highlighted what they lacked. Others feared losing control. Your independence threatened their influence. Some were manipulated by outside forces who recognized your spiritual significance before you did. But in certain cases, and this is what God is exposing today, there was actual benefit in your destruction. Social standing, financial gain, positioning, protection of secrets, maintenance of family systems that required your silence or absence. The wounds cut deeper because they came from those meant to protect you. The betrayal stings sharper because it violated sacred trust. Yet here's the divine perspective. Family opposition often confirms your calling. Those closest to you sometimes struggle most to recognize your evolution because they've categorized you based on who you were, not who you're becoming. Your transformation threatens the roles and relationships they've grown comfortable with. Your elevation exposes the limitations they've accepted. This doesn't justify their actions. Pain inflicted leaves real damage. But understanding the spiritual dynamics helps you recognize that their behavior reveals more about their spiritual condition than your worth. The same Joseph whose brothers sold him became their salvation. The same David dismissed by his family became their king. The pattern of family rejection preceding divine elevation continues through history into your story. What your family couldn't see, God always recognized. What they tried to diminish, heaven was preparing to amplify. Why did God allow this? This question haunts many chosen ones who've endured family betrayal. If God loves you, why permit those closest to you to wound you so deeply? The answer requires spiritual wisdom beyond human understanding. Sometimes God permits wounding to develop discernment. In your innocence, you trusted indiscriminately. You shared your pearls without recognizing who might trample them. Through betrayal, you developed spiritual sensitivity, the ability to discern authentic support from false loyalty. Sometimes God permits isolation to facilitate intimacy with Him. When human connections proved unreliable, you were driven into deeper communion with the divine. The space created by rejection became filled with revelation. The absence of human validation created capacity for divine affirmation. Sometimes God permits misunderstanding because premature validation would have stunted your growth. If everyone had recognized and celebrated your calling immediately, you might have become satisfied with human approval rather than pursuing divine alignment. The opposition forced you to dig deeper, reach higher, become more than you would have if the path had been easy. Consider how differently Joseph's story would have unfolded if his brothers had supported his dreams. Would he have developed the character necessary to govern Egypt? Would he have gained the wisdom to save nations? Would he have cultivated the forgiveness that ultimately restored his family? The opposition you faced wasn't evidence of divine abandonment but divine development. Think of a diamond. Its value comes not from easy formation but from sustained pressure. Gold becomes pure not through gentle handling but through intense fire. Your character, the foundation of your coming influence, required testing that only opposition could provide. God permitted the attacks not because He approved of the betrayal, but because He recognized what the process would produce in you: unshakable faith, tested integrity, authentic compassion born from experiencing pain firsthand. What felt like divine absence was actually divine alchemy, transforming intended harm into future glory. For the chosen ones watching, the season is changing. What do I mean? There are spiritual indicators that divine vindication has begun. First, notice the shifting atmosphere. People who once avoided you now seek your counsel. Those who participated in your dismissal suddenly feel drawn to reconnect. They can't explain why, but something in them recognizes the anointing now evident upon your life. Second, observe how perspectives are changing without your effort. You're no longer fighting to correct false narratives. Truth is emerging naturally. Conversations you weren't part of are yielding revelations about who actually created the division. Text messages, social media posts, casual comments that expose motives previously hidden. Third, Recognize how your peace has deepened. Where once accusation tormented you, now divine confidence anchors you. You no longer feel compelled to defend yourself because you understand that vindicating the chosen is God's responsibility, not yours. Fourth, notice how previous limitations have suddenly lifted. Doors that remained firmly closed despite your efforts now open without your pushing. Opportunities emerge from unexpected sources. Resources appear precisely when needed. These aren't coincidences, they're divine compensation beginning to manifest. Fifth, watch how your spiritual discernment has sharpened. You can now identify authentic alliance from false connection. You perceive motives beneath actions. You recognize spiritual warfare before it intensifies. This heightened awareness protects you from repeating painful cycles. What's happening? The same God who permitted the testing is now revealing its purpose. The opposition wasn't your destruction, it was your development. The process hasn't been pleasant, but the product is powerful. A chosen one who persevered, whose character remained intact despite assault, whose commitment to purpose outweighed their pain. Now heaven begins revealing what was really happening during your season of misrepresentation. The truth doesn't just vindicate you. It becomes the foundation for your most effective ministry. Are you recognizing these signs in your life? If so, prepare yourself. Divine vindication brings responsibility along with restoration. The moment of vindication tests the chosen one's spiritual maturity more than the season of accusation ever did. When truth emerges, when family betrayal becomes visible to all, a critical choice emerges. Will you respond from wounded ego or divine wisdom? Will you seek revenge or release blessing? Will you highlight their shame or honor your calling? The temptation to say, "I told you so," will be strong. The urge to expose every detail of their betrayal will feel justified. The desire to ensure they experience the same pain they caused you will disguise itself as justice. But hear this wisdom. How you respond to vindication determines whether it becomes a stepping stone to your elevation or merely the conclusion of a painful chapter. The spiritually immature use vindication as a weapon. They demand apologies. They publicize offenses. They create new wounds while addressing old ones. This response may satisfy the ego temporarily, but it creates spiritual limitations that persist for generations. The spiritually mature understand a profound truth. Vindication belongs to God alone. Your role isn't to manage consequences but to maintain character. Your assignment isn't to punish offenders but to preserve your peace. Joseph models this masterfully. When his brothers stood before him, the same brothers who destroyed his reputation and sold him into slavery, he had absolute power to destroy them. Instead, he chose restoration. Not because they deserved mercy, but because his divine purpose required wisdom beyond retribution. This doesn't mean pretending betrayal never occurred. It doesn't mean removing healthy boundaries. It doesn't mean automatically trusting those who previously harmed you. It means recognizing that bitterness is a poison you drink while expecting someone else to suffer. It means understanding that your purpose is too significant to be derailed by the distraction of vengeance. It means acknowledging that even those who harmed you remain in God's hands for correction and restoration. The truly powerful don't need to prove their power. The genuinely vindicated don't need to announce their vindication. Your elevation will speak louder than any accusation ever did. Choose the higher response. Watch what God does next. The wilderness of misrepresentation teaches chosen ones lessons available nowhere else. Let's explore 3 transformational truths discovered only through opposition. First, divine separation precedes divine connection. The relationships that dissolved weren't random casualties. They were necessary removals. God was creating space for your authentic allies. The painful separation from false connections was actually protection from greater harm that would have come had those relationships continued. Like a skillful gardener, God sometimes prunes what appears healthy to create room for more fruitful connections. What looked like rejection was actually divine selection, separating you from relationships that couldn't support your coming elevation. Second, character withstands what reputation cannot. Your accusers attacked your name, but they couldn't touch your nature. They questioned your motives, but they couldn't change your makeup. They challenged your credibility, but they couldn't alter your character. This distinction matters profoundly. Reputation is what people believe about you. Character is who you actually are. Reputation can be destroyed with words. Character must be built with consistent choices. Reputation fluctuates with public opinion. Character remains stable through every season. By maintaining integrity while under attack, you developed something more valuable than public approval: internal authority. This unshakable core becomes the foundation for lasting influence. Third, your greatest ministry emerges from your deepest wounds. The very experiences designed to destroy you will become the cornerstone of your purpose. The betrayal you endured qualifies you to guide others through similar valleys. The false accusations you weathered enable you to speak with authenticity to those currently facing judgment. Your scars become your credentials. Your testimony becomes your message. Your restoration becomes hope for others still waiting for vindication. This pattern appears throughout sacred history. Joseph's betrayal positioned him to save nations. David's persecution prepared him to lead with compassion. Every significant biblical figure experienced opposition directly connected to their ultimate assignment. Your family betrayal wasn't random suffering. It was specialized preparation. The unique pain you endured was crafting unique wisdom you'll need for your specific calling. What the enemy meant for destruction, God was positioning for restoration, not just of you, but through you to countless others who will recognize their story in yours. For chosen ones navigating the revelation of family betrayal, practical wisdom must accompany spiritual insight. Here are 4 essential steps for this new season. First, deepen your spiritual foundation. When divine vindication begins, emotional responses intensify. The only stability comes through strengthened connection with God. Increase your prayer time. Immerse yourself in wisdom literature. Create space for divine guidance to outweigh human reaction. Your relationship with God remains your greatest protection, not just from external attacks, but from internal impulses that could compromise your character during vindication. The stronger your spiritual core, the wiser your response to unfolding revelations. Second, establish clear boundaries without creating walls. Boundaries define what behavior you'll accept. Walls prevent any connection whatsoever. Boundaries require communication, walls eliminate it. Boundaries can be adjusted as people demonstrate change. Walls remain rigid regardless of growth. With divine wisdom, determine appropriate boundaries with those who betrayed you. These boundaries protect your peace without preventing possible restoration if genuine transformation occurs. Third, focus forward rather than backward. Vindication can become a distraction if it consumes your attention. While God reveals truth about past betrayal, keep your primary focus on future purpose. The revelation is happening not merely for closure, but for clearing the path ahead. The enemy would love nothing more than for vindication to become another delay tactic, keeping you focused on past wounds rather than future wounds. Acknowledge the truth being revealed, but direct your energy toward your divine assignment. Fourth, transform your testimony into ministry. The wisdom gained through betrayal and restoration represents spiritual currency meant for circulation, not hoarding. As appropriate, share your journey, not to expose others, but to encourage those facing similar battles. Your experience of overcoming family opposition provides hope for others currently enduring it. Your story of maintaining integrity despite attack offers a roadmap for those tempted to compromise under pressure. By implementing these practical steps, you transform revelation into restoration, information into transformation, and personal vindication into powerful ministry. Chosen one, hear this prophetic word. What was meant to disqualify you has actually distinguished you. The opposition you faced wasn't evidence of divine rejection but confirmation of divine selection. The betrayal you endured wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The false narratives spread about you weren't your conclusion, they were your contrast. God permitted this season not to harm you but to highlight you. Not to break you but to build you. Not to diminish your influence but to deepen your impact. Now divine vindication begins, not because you demanded it, but because your assignment requires it. The same God who allowed the test is initiating the testimony. The same God who permitted the pain is revealing its purpose. Your family betrayal is becoming the backdrop against which your divine calling shines most brilliantly. The contrast between what was said about you and what God does through you will become undeniable evidence of divine favor. This vindication isn't merely for your comfort, it's for kingdom advancement. It's not just personal restoration, it's public demonstration of how God transforms opposition into opportunity, betrayal into blessing, wounds into wisdom. As truth emerges, maintain the character that sustained you through accusation. As vindication unfolds, demonstrate the compassion that can only come from experiencing both pain and healing. As divine elevation begins, remember the valleys that prepared you for these heights. Your story continues beyond betrayal into blessing, beyond opposition into opportunity, beyond misrepresentation into manifestation of everything God declared over your life before foundation of the world. The truth isn't just coming out, it's coming alive through you. If this message resonated with your spirit, take a moment to reflect on what God is revealing. Share this message with another chosen one navigating family betrayal. Join our community of believers committed to purpose beyond pain.